In this video, I'm going to be giving one tip for every single character in Tekken 8. Well, actually, that's not exactly true. A lot of these characters are going to get a pretty decent amount more than just one tip, because I feel like I have quite a bit of general advice for most of the characters in this game. Now, you might be asking, what makes me qualified to be giving advice? Great question. The answer is absolutely nothing. I'm what you call a ranked warrior. I got my Jin to God of Destruction before being demoted a couple days ago because ranked is brutal right now, and I've gotten all of these characters to around the Emperor ranks, along with spending a pretty decent amount of time on each other character around the high blue ranks. This advice is not going to be revolutionary. I'm not a pro player by any means. That being said, I do have a decently competitive approach and mindset to games like this, and I feel like I've picked up a good amount of knowledge about most characters in the game, either from playing them a lot myself or labbing them to learn the matchups or make videos on. These are just a collection of tips I think could help the average Tekken player. But at the same time, I'm not just going to be telling you, oh, spam Snake Edge because it'll work in low ranks. I tried for most of this advice to be applicable at all levels, and is more geared towards either making you a better Tekken player in general, or making you a better character specialist, telling you new moves you should be using. I think that's more than enough yapping though. Remember to subscribe for more content like this, and let's get into the video. Okay, so Jin, my main. Let's start with something that I think most people don't really talk about too much. I feel like a lot of Jin players don't use his poking as well as they could. So obviously for poking, Jin has a lot of stuff that's really broken right now. Everyone's 2-1, 2-1. 2-1-4, like that's the most common thing. But I feel like there's actually a lot of other stuff that a surprising amount of Jins, even in the highest ranks, like really just don't use. And this is going to be especially relevant because we're getting nerfs, almost definitely nerfs to Jin in Season 2, which is just in a couple weeks now. So this is probably going to go. I want you guys to get more comfortable with his other poking options. What do I mean by that? Well, very underrated is obviously his back forward 2-3. This is an incredibly strong string. 2 hits, mid-mid, -9. You hold forward, you get +2 on block. So mid-mid, +2 on block into stance mix-up. This is like super good. This is a really good string to keep in mind. You also have, this is a high, so it's not as useful, but 3-1, you can go into stance, it gives you +4 on block into stance. So like if they're respecting you, you know they're not ducking, you can use that as well. In general though, the main string, I think this is the better one. This one's a lot better, obviously, because it cannot be ducked. Like get comfortable doing this, like start throwing it out, see what they do. Are they pressing immediately? Okay, we can go into power crush. Are they gonna like try and wait and try and punish it? We can do this to get like a very risky launch. Are they going to use like try and jab checkers? We use this, has full high crush. You can go into stance, then hold down forward and go into wave dash and get a cool mix up there. There's a lot of options with this move for his poking. I think it's very underrated. Obviously other stuff that's like kind of generic, back 2-1, use this string, super good, especially on characters who are evasive, like this will hit ALP, this will pick up Zafina in a tarantula stance. There's a lot of good uses for this. I think you need to be more comfortable using these moves for his poking as well. There's a lot more than just 2-1, 2-1-4, you know what I mean? Also, just like a small other thing, use forward 4 more. For some reason, a lot of Jins, and like his counter hit stuff in general, forward 4 is really good and standing 4 is really good. Use both of these. Like seriously, you'll be surprised how far these tools will get you. And a lot of Jins are obvious, they'll just always go into stance. Don't do that. This is a really bad habit that even I find myself having sometimes. You want to stay away from that, but yeah, forward 4, super good for space control. And if you think it's too slow, because it is 16 frames, 13 frame high tracking move. On counter hits, you get either this, or if you want more damage and you're already in heat, if you want more damage and you're already in heat, you do this. Okay, Kazuya players. You need to dedicate time each day getting used to punishing -15 or at the very least -16 moves with electric. Yeah, listen, I know you're putting it off. You watching, I know there's at least a couple of you guys who have been putting this off because, oh, now you have down forward 1-4 and you have like a consistent way to get like an easy mode punish. It is not a substitute. If you want to be really good with Kazuya, this is something you're gonna have to learn eventually. I think it's worth practicing this a little bit every single day. Now, obviously, I'm not telling you to punish -13 moves or even 14. 15, 16, that's a lot of stuff for -15 or -16 in this game. You want to get comfortable with that. I think it's very important to do so. Even for higher frames, like sometimes people do like a 1-1-2, like if a Kazuya or if a Mishima, I guess, does a full 1-1-2 on your block, what the -17, 18, like you got to launch that. You need to be comfortable launching that, and you're not going to get to that point unless you spend time practicing. Sorry, my electrics are bad because I have like 5 frames of delay in the OBS thing. Please spend time learning this. Don't neglect it. For Devil Jin, I actually have a couple tips. I play this character a lot. First of all, And this might be, I want to say this mainly applies to lower ranks, but it kind of applies to everyone, I'm going to be honest. Chill out with the panic moves. Back 3, this is not a good move. It's not a good move. I know you get away with it a lot. I know in ranked it can be useful, but this is so minus. It's not worth it. Like, unless of course you're in heat. So when you're in heat, this is a really good move. Obviously you get a big hit there, but like you need to be way more careful with this move than most Devil Jin players are. Even in higher ranks, a lot of people are using this. The risk reward is just not it. Like, yes, you get a heat engager. That's really nice. If this gets blocked, you're exploding. Even bad players are gonna launch you for this. Yeah, it's just not worth it. If you do want like a panic option, you're gonna call someone out for mashing. This is actually a better option. Going for the up 4, it's honestly a better option. Now, this move obviously is still launch punishable. I think it's like minus 25 or something, so it's still very, very risky. However, at least if you're hitting this as like a call-out panic option, you're getting a full combo, and Devil Jin's combos, they hurt, even if you just go for something very simple. As opposed to this, you get a heat engager. You can do a 50-50 maybe. It's not worth the risk in my opinion. I think ease up on the panic options in general. But yeah, if you are gonna use one and you know that you're gonna call them out, just commit. You might as well commit anyway. You're gonna get launched either way, right? Some other stuff we have, I think Devil Jin players need to use CD4-4 more often. This is unironically really, really good. 35 damage, no recoverable health. Like, yeah, this is great. You get more damage, but you lose a lot of Oki and you don't, and it's half of that damage is just recoverable. And in this game, most likely they're gonna pop heat or land a heat engager, start mashing on you, and all that health just comes right back. I think as we get more into Tekken 8's life, I think people are gonna start opting for combos and like moves that do more true damage. I think that's gonna be a lot more important in the future of this game. This is also really, really good at the wall as well. Like it's super, super good at the wall. +4 right in their face, lots of damage. Use it more. Another thing, use grabs more. A lot of, like, Devil Jin sucks. This character's really bad right now. You want to be using the whole arsenal. For some reason, a lot of Devil Jin players don't really use a lot of his throws. You have a complete throw game. Use all of them. Mix them all up. A lot of people are really bad at breaking throws. I'm really bad at breaking throws, even in the highest ranks. You want to use everything you can get. So I'd say use grabs more as well, for sure. For Reina, first up, use this move more often. Sidestep 4. Your Reina players complain about having no lows. This is a good low. Heihachi would kill to have a low like this. Big frames on counter hits. Like, I don't know, OBS's delayed is messing me up here. +13 on counter hits. Pretty safe on block. Like this is a really nice tool to have, and more Reina players need to use it. I don't know why a lot of them don't. Another thing, I feel like most Reinas aren't comfortable enough with Heaven's Wrath. This stance, it seems like a lot of people just really don't know what to do with it. The auto parry alone can help you, like can carry you to really high ranks. People don't start hop kicking this until very late. Obviously, if you don't know, you get an auto parry if they hit you while you're in heat. So yeah, use strings like down forward 4-2. Really good string. A lot of pro Reinas love this string. Of course, only when you're in heat, but yeah, a lot of people will bite. They'll hit you, you get like 40 damage. You beat this by just like hop kicking because it doesn't block, or grabbing, I guess. But a lot of people just don't even know about that. And of course, for Hell Sweep, right? I feel like a lot of people are underutilizing the 50-50 potential you have after Hell Sweep. Mainly, again, because of Heaven's Wrath. Like at the wall, Reina players they'll mix up, they'll use the throw, which Reina players don't use the unblockable throws enough, but at the wall that does good damage, and you'll mix it up with like Iron Hand. But there's more to it than a lot of people think. I don't see people chaining the Hell Sweeps together very much. You can keep linking these. If you just press down forward to cancel the Heaven's Wrath into another thing, you can just link these. It'll work on a lot of people. Also, in terms of like 50-50 after this, low heat smash. Use it. Reinas don't use this. Use it. This flowchart, just doing like a Hell Sweep into immediate low heat smash. Look how much damage you get. This works in the highest ranks, and her low heat smash is a full floor breaker. You get a ton of damage. Like, people just aren't ready for this because obviously everyone's expecting the Iron Hand into Heat Dash, right? But yeah, add that to your 50-50 utility. Start using that more, and obviously, yeah, you still have this, which is really good in heat. 3-4, throw that in occasionally, hold down, +8 on block. Huge chip damage, like really, really good tool. I think Reinas would get a lot better if they just experimented more with this stance and like were, I guess, just better at using it overall. It feels very underdeveloped. Heihachi players need to get way more comfortable with mixing up timing. That's like the number one thing I tell all Heihachi players. 50-50s are like a really big part of Tekken, but when you take a situation like, let's say if we set him to the wall here. So like you knock him down, heat smash, I'm gonna get him to block actually. Heat smash, you're in a really good situation here, right? 50-50, obviously you do the guard break or you do one of the highs, or sorry, one of the mids. But there's a whole other aspect when you start taking into timing. And this is kind of like as we get into higher level of play, timing is very, very important in this game. It's a whole other factor entirely. Like not only does your opponent have to guess after like you hit them, they also have to guess your timing. And this adds so much more to this character. Like you don't always press immediately. Like a lot of Heihachis, like you can just wait. You can hold the stance for a couple seconds. Wait a sec, see what they do. See if they duck. See if they try and do a parry. See if they try and like mash a button. You can get a lot of really good info from that, in my opinion. And more people just need to get more comfortable with mixing up their timing. Like timing mix-ups. Sometimes, maybe last time you waited a second after doing it. This time, do it immediately. Catch him off guard. It adds a whole other aspect to your mix-ups, which is important on Heihachi because he really needs it. Sometimes just like holding something for like a couple extra frames can be such a big, it can make such a huge difference in like how often you win or not. Yeah. The timing stuff goes a little bit further than just the stance. Like in general, mix up your timing more. I see everyone does this, right? I almost never see people do this. The fully charged version. If your opponent's not expecting this, +1 on block, chip damage, this breaks armor. A lot of people don't know this. If they try and heat burst or do a power crush, this completely breaks it. Very, very good tool to use. I'm not saying spam it, obviously it's kind of predictable, but like, yeah, mix up your timings. Down forward 1-1, then you do down forward half charge, then you do down forward full charge. Heihachi benefits a lot from these kind of timing mix-ups, in my opinion. A lot of people, especially because a lot of people are afraid of Heihachi, a lot of people are going to respect him. So you can look for stuff like this. You can look for a lot of timing mix-ups. Just be creative with that. Use Paul's ultimate tackle more, the ultimate punishment. For some reason, no one uses this in this game, even though grabs are better than they've ever been. That's 50 damage and none of it is recoverable. I think Mei Sui actually mentioned this years ago, back in one of his old Tekken 7 Paul videos, and it got stuck in my head, and now when I play Paul, I get so much success with it. The inputs can be a little bit annoying at first, but it's really, they made it a lot easier. Oh, see, I messed it up there. They made it a lot easier in this game. And if they miss the initial like very small break window, like if they don't press 1+2 immediately after the tackle, they just die. Like they seriously just die. Yeah, more Pauls need to use this. Look how much damage it is. So many people are just, they have no idea how to break it, and this can get you very far even in the highest ranks. Also, use quarter circle back 4. For some reason, a lot of Pauls don't use this as much in this game. This move is still super good. +1 on block, 15 frames, homing, counter hit launcher. That you get it, you land it, they just die. Really good move to use. Lars is a hard one because this character is so bad, if we're being honest. But the number one problem I see with Lars players in God of Destruction, and to be honest, in general, is that they're too trigger happy with down back 4. This is unironically, it's my number one game plan against Lars players. Like when I run into them in ranked, it's like, wait for this, because they're gonna get impatient and they're gonna use it. I block, and then you just die. A lot of Lars players, they don't really mix up their timing. So I just play small Tekken, wait, basic pokes, and they use it and they die. And if you're looking out for this, this is actually, it's 21 frames, but because of the animation, this is actually pretty reactable if you're expecting it, at least in my experience. Though I understand as a Lars player myself, I know why you feel the need to use this because the guy has no lows. He's so bad right now. But I think Lars players in general would benefit from being more patient, getting more used to playing seconds. A lot of people do not respect your stance transitions because they've just been told not to. So I feel like you'd benefit a lot from just waiting. Like get used to just like sometimes doing nothing. Like in a lot of situations where you would take like a big mix up, just wait because there are so many option selects. Sometimes, for example, maybe like after you do a string that would normally take you into stance, don't go into stance, then sidestep, because so many people are so used to just default crouch jabbing to punish you going into stance. So try not going into stance, look for a sidestep. Sidestep beats crouch jab. Look for a duck. Like look for a lot of interesting stuff. Like you have to be creative on this character, because again, he's so bad. But like yeah, try like holding off when you'd normally go into stance in certain situations. Hold off and just hold back. Look for a sidestep and just see what your opponent does. I think that would get Lars players caught a lot more often, to be honest. Again, like I said, the unfortunate reality, you need to work really hard on this character. But also, remember, you do have good whiff punishing on this guy. Like, you don't always have to just run in. You have, what is it, forward back 2-1. really good whiff punishing tool, right? You have back 3-4, really good whiff punishing tool. You don't always have to be the one initiating, you know? Yeah, pray for this guy's buffs in Season 2, because holy shit is he bad right now. This is going to be a scrub take, but I feel like in general, King players need to abuse chain throws way more often in this game. They're better right now than they've ever been before, and for some reason, significantly less King players seem to use chain throws in this game as opposed to Tekken 7. I don't know why, I have no idea, but a lot less people are using chain throws. You should use them. Even in the highest ranks, people are not breaking them. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to break them half the time. There's like a couple that I know how to look out for, like the rolling death cradle, but a lot of times I don't. And a lot of times you're forcing like guaranteed 3-way mix-ups in your chain throws. Use chain throws more often. Also a little bit, and I'm not like super qualified to speak on King because I don't play him too often, but I feel like more King players need to get better at using his Oki. I feel like his Oki is unironically like the best it's ever been right now, and so many people are just not, like it feels very unexplored. There's a couple, I don't remember, there's a couple of really good King Oki guys that I found on YouTube, but like, yeah, like you need to be using, I don't know what the kick is. It's the kick they all use on Wake Up that leads to that animation that's safe on block. The mid kick, get used to using your ground throws. Yeah, explore his Oki more, really. That's all I can really say for that. I think if you explore his Oki and spam chain throws, you could get to like Tekken God Supreme pretty easily on this character. I'm going to be doing that on my stream soon, just seeing how high we can go with him, because I know I can definitely do it. Use this move more often. Forward 1+2, especially at the wall, is super broken. It's a really good tool. Look at those plus frames. Oh my god. In general, like, Jin's plus frames are so oppressive. Like, so incredibly oppressive. Your opponent's always gonna want to respect you. So yeah, forward 1+2, use that a lot more often. And use Sabaki more. Like, this move, unironically, is pretty damn broken. Like, a neutral on block full launching, like, full parry, basically. It's really good. Like, abuse the hell out of this. Okay, Law is one of the few characters on this list who I almost never play, so it's kind of difficult to give tips specifically for him. I think in general, more Laws need to be abusing Sidestep 3, because I have a feeling this move's gonna get nerfed in Season 2. So incredibly strong, especially in Heat, when it becomes a full counter hit launcher, you can Heat dash out of it. I think in general as well, his while standing stuff is pretty underdeveloped as well. Usually it's just people just going to slide. But like, oh my god, if you're not like abusing while standing 3, what character are you even playing? the plus 17 into stance, it's completely ridiculous. His while standing stuff in general, like you have while standing 4, like what is this move? 11 frame, and you see it counter hits, launch. 11 frames, interrupt. I know a lot of low-level Laws love using this, but honestly, this works at kind of all levels. You basically have an 11-frame counter-hit launcher. Like, you're gonna press a button. He doesn't have to respect. A lot of people, or a lot of characters have like strings and like sequences and flowcharts that a lot of characters have to respect, but Law can just, because he has 11 frame outs, if you're in crouch, you can just get out of the situation. It's really good for him. And yeah, spam forward 1+2 as well. What a move. That's all I really got for Law, I'm sorry. I feel like Xiayou has a lot of lows that like are pretty underutilized by most Xiayou players. I'm not exactly sure why. Sidestep 4 obviously is incredible. It's a counter hit launcher, only minus what? Is it minus 13? I always forget. Down back 3 is like stupidly broken and no one talks about this. Obviously it's the low that does no damage, but is +2 on block. Which you can do like a lot of cool stuff just with that, because no one's expecting that obviously. And on counter hit, you get a heat engager. I don't exactly remember which one it is, but you get a guaranteed heat engager for like 30 damage. Like those two moves alone are like underused, I think, for most Xiayou players. Like yeah, Xiayou has a lot of underrated stuff like this that I think more people need to use. AOP down 1 as well. Especially keep in mind if you're ever on a stage with floor break, not heats. We need counter hits. Look at that. You get a full combo on floor break stages. Only, what is it, like minus 12? Like, there's a lot of lows that are pretty unexplored on Xiayou. So Jack at his core has always been like 2D movement, because he has a really good backdash, long range, punish you, like look at this down forward too, like super good range. It feels like almost no one plays Jack like this anymore. All the ones I run into, they run in, They do the low. Obviously, this is really good. And they just look for throws. They look for like cheesy strings and stuff. But I feel like, no, that's not how the character is supposed to be played. This character at its best is, again, really good movement, really good backdash, whiff punish, right? Abusing your insanely long range options. Whiff punishing is like the core of this character, at least it was supposed to be back in Tekken 7. And it just really feels like more, I think if more Jacks played into that style, they'd become better fundamental players overall. And nothing much for Nina because she's one of those characters where everyone already kind of knows what's up. I will say I think more Ninas should lean into her crouching 50-50. A lot of Ninas just neglect this. Wipes the floor is really good, full crouch 4. But for some reason, a lot of Ninas don't really use this. Like it starts her Oki off so incredibly well and just puts your opponent in such a bad spot. So I'd say use that a lot more. Maybe chill with a forward 1+2. I know you guys all really like that move. It is -14 and a lot of Ninas will just let it rip in like panic situations. Maybe chill with that. But that's pretty much my only tips for Nina. The character's already so broken, and Nina players are already like really strong. So I'm not really qualified to give you guys too many tips on this character. You better be spamming down forward 1-2. So for Asuka, like same with June, abuse Sabaki more because this move is just unbelievably strong. Hers is way stronger because of how much faster it comes out. But like, what is this? It's so good. Such an amazing tool that she has. Chill with the down forward 1-2. I feel like they use this a little bit too much, even in high ranks. Like, basically everyone knows to duck that. Like stick to just down forward 1 the vast majority of the time. My other like big tip that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I'm gonna save most of it for the video, but for her install, right? I feel like a lot of Asuka players are bad at like mixing this up. So like, it feels like as soon as they get it, a lot of them are looking for this, right? Like everyone knows that's what they want as soon as they go into heat, because it's very strong when you have the install. But this is a high. It homes, but it's a high, and you can very easily duck it and you can launch them, right? So what Asuka players will do is they'll try and mix it up with this, right? This is the mid mix up. If you get hit by this, you take a ton of damage, full launcher. But I don't think they're good enough at mixing this up. I feel like I can always tell like when you're looking for this and when you're looking for this. Maybe it's just they're not comfortable enough with like using while running moves up close, but like usually like they'll land a combo, right? And there'll be like a decent amount of distance between us. And I don't know, it feels like it's too obvious. Like around this point, you're always gonna be looking for one of these. And if you're looking for them, if the Asuka player is thinking, okay, he wants to duck me, you kind of just like, a lot of them play like this. Like you walk up like this with like the very obvious forward inputs. And like, I don't know, I feel like it's too easy to predict. Whenever I see that, I'm hop kicking. Like you get your install. I know if you're running at me, it's obvious you're gonna go for this. And if you're kind of like walking up like this, I know exactly what to look for. Maybe it's hard for me to like kind of explain this because this is more like getting into like higher level mind games, but I do think you should be using while running 1+2 more often up close. That way, I feel like that alone would give you a lot against a lot of players, even like good players who are just so used to just, okay, I'm gonna wait for this. Oh, you knocked me away. I know you're gonna look for this. I'm gonna duck. Like, just get more comfortable using this up close. I know it's a high. I know it's scary and it can be ducked, but you'd be surprised how many people will not duck because they're too scared of the mid, right? And let's be real, no one's sidestepping. Hopefully that made sense. I'm gonna make a full video on her soon because she is a character I'm pretty interested in. So stay tuned for that, and I'm gonna go a lot more in depth on that and the character in general. You need to abuse parries on Leroy. Now, this is gonna be hard to demonstrate because I don't play him, so I don't know exactly how to do it, especially not now. I have like a ton of delay on OBS for the filming, but he still has the perfect parry, right? Like if you parry at the perfect timing, you have the blue spark parry, and I'm sure all Leroy players know this at this point, but if you don't, you can just Google it. You get like a guaranteed like 45 damage or something, plus a follow-up. You can walk up and do like a steel pedal. That's really good. Like it's really, really good. And for some reason, I just don't see Leroy's doing it. I feel like Leroy's parries in general are very underdeveloped. Your parry also wall splats now. Since they buffed him, like at the wall, if you look for like parries, they can just die because Leroy has a very, very good wall combo. So yeah, I feel like more players need to like practice parry timing, practice doing the thing with the blue spark with a guaranteed follow-up. Spend more time in training mode, basically. Oh yeah, and keep up using down back 3 because this low is really, really good. You need to go into back turn less and get better at mixing up back turn. I feel like 90% of Lilies, even in higher ranks, will go into back turn at every possible chance. Literally, they'll always do it. Like no matter what, if there's an option to, they will. And I think that's holding you back. Like you'll do this, back turn. And like, yeah, you're +3, but there's a lot of option selects. A lot of times your opponent can just like hop kick you. Like, and I don't remember exactly all the other, there's a couple other strings that I wanted to mention here. I don't remember offhand, but you know the ones if you're a Lili player. Like that's one of my biggest game plans against Lili is like, see if they always go into back turn. And most of them will always go into back turn. And I'm able to get like such like easy, consistent punishes. Just in general, like practice mixing it up. Like see what your, obviously if your opponent doesn't care, which I'm sure a lot of you in low ranks, yeah, just spam this all day. You know what I mean? Especially for like hop kick. Or sorry, not hop kick, cartwheel. Like you always go into back turn after this, even after you get launched. And it makes your life so much more difficult, I feel like. Like you gotta try having a little bit of restraint. It might take some practice, but just like mixing up when you go into back turn. Because if you always do it, you're gonna get option selected and you're gonna die a lot of the time. I know a lot of Lili players really like using this for the mix-up because a lot of bad players aren't ready for this. If you're in like lower level, don't build a habit of this because everyone will duck this. Like this will get you killed if you do it in the higher ranks. And besides that, I feel like a lot of Lilis don't use forward 4 enough. You have a Jin-esque forward 4, super long. I think her range is actually slightly longer, like really good, and they just die. You get crazy damage if you hit this. Yeah, use this more. Be more aggressive with your forward 4 callouts. Like Lili isn't just like a sidestep and like strings. Like you have really good counter hit utility too. I feel like you need to use that more. So I feel like a huge amount of Hwoarang players online seem to like only actually play half the character. And as I've been playing him more and more, I'm like understanding this a little bit. It's probably because he's so difficult to play, and don't get me wrong, he is very difficult to play, a lot harder than most people think. But from what I see, pretty much every Hwoarang is either like the hyper aggressive Tekken rushdown, you know, heat, chip damage type player, like obviously in your face the whole game, strings, or they're more of like the space control, like back 3, whiff punisher, looking for like the just frame skyrockets. And I feel like more Hwoarang players need to get comfortable with like switching between both. I feel like if you're only doing one or the other, you're really only playing half the character. It sounds silly to say, but like I feel like even in like I face God of Destruction Hwoarangs, and like within like the first round I can tell, okay, which one is it? Is it the safe, more like fundies, like poke, back 3, like waits for a heat engager or waits for like a black kite to start his that's the Dragon Lash to start his pressure, or is it the one who just runs in immediately, press. I feel like you can always tell, and I think if you're able to like mix those up and use both of them, you'll get a lot better with the character. Like back 3, this is one of the best whiff punishing tools in the game. This move is incredible, and I don't know if you've played Tekken, but people love to whiff in this game. So you need to get really good at using this tool. You need to feel really comfortable using it. His other strong tool, his down forward 2 is super good. Really, it is super good. A lot of Hwoarang players don't use his down forward 2. Get good at using just frame skyrockets. The keep out on that is incredible. I'm not going to show you because I can't do it yet because I'm bad, but like practice that. If you're not able to do it, it is very important for the character's kit. I think you definitely don't want to ignore using that. And yeah, like it's always good to like try and get info, right? Like when the round starts, maybe like play back a little bit. It's like just wait, see if they run in, look for a back 3. Look for a down forward 2. This is again amazing keep out move. Look for more like down forward 1s. I feel like that will take you very far. Like playing a little bit more restrained and trying to like utilize both of these 2 play styles at once. I hope that makes sense. And I am going to do a more in-depth video on Hwoarang. I've been planning that for a while now, but yeah, like you can kind of tell, like, oh, does it seem like they don't respect you and they're obviously like carried by their character? Then yeah, run in and like throw out the matchup checks. Like by all means, go for it. But like if they kind of seem like, oh, the round started and they dash back and it looks like they're kind of playing for keep outs, you don't always have to be the one initiating on Hwoarang. That's like another thing. I think a lot of Hwoarang players feel like they always have to, but no, like you can play second on this character and he has really good tools. He's so all around. He can really just, he can do everything. He really can. Yeah. Also, yeah, use his throws more. Like a lot of, I feel like this one's not as bad. There's some, like I was talking about Devil Jin earlier. Devil Jin players just don't use throws. Hwoarang, yeah, use your throws, bro. You have some really good ass throws. My biggest tip for Bryan, this is a really small one, but you need to make sure you're always mixing up your down forward 1 timing. This is a weird thing. It feels like a lot of people don't think about it. I don't know. I feel like every time I fight a Bryan player, they'll do like the down forward 1, and it'll either be like someone who does it 3 times, someone who does it 4 times. Very rarely I'll find someone who does 2, which is actually the best way to do it in my opinion. But like mix up your timings always. Because, like, yeah, again, so many people, oh, okay, this guy does 4. Usually they do 4 for the entire duration of the set. And that's like, yeah, it's only -10, but that's like 30 damage you don't have to take if you just mix it up. Because you're not punishing this on reaction. You have to predict when he's going to stop, right? Mix up the timing more. It feels obvious, and I'm sure a lot of Bryans do, but for some reason, maybe it's just me, a lot of the Bryans just do not do this enough. They really don't. Other than that, abuse the shit out of Incinerator before it gets nerfed, because it's gonna get nerfed. And 3+4 charge at the wall, obviously, it's so broken. I get hit by this way more than I like to admit at the wall. It's just really, really good. Make sure you're abusing that. I think most Claudios I play against would benefit a lot from playing safer. In my opinion, it always feels like a lot of them get like a little bit too excited with their string use, normally towards the end of a round or towards the end like of a match. And they'll start letting off like the down forward 1-2s fly. They'll start doing the, what's the, sorry, I don't play this character enough. What's the, that, of course, oh my god, the flowcharts. The flowcharts, even though it's -18, and there's a string, it's a mid-high string. I'm sure you'd recognize it. It's the one they all do. You start being a little bit too unsafe with that. I feel like a lot of Claudios will take a lot of unnecessary risks with that stuff. You really don't have to. One of the great things about this character is how inherently safe he is. He's designed to be super safe. You really don't need to be taking huge launch punishable risks very often at all, if ever, to be honest. Like, I don't know, I'm struggling to think of a reason why you should be taking like these huge risks on this character. Like, keep it safe. You're a fundamental character, single hit, use your back 1, sidestep 4. If you're gonna take a risk, hop kick. Like, this is only -13. At least you're not gonna get blown up for it like you are for using this, right? Like, you can take a little bit of risk, but avoid like the super risky, like the high or mid-high strings. You get ducked, you get launched. The launch punishable strings, like this, like chill out with that. Oh my god. I know it's like the 2-hit at the wall into this. It's the flowchart they all use. That's gonna stop working eventually. I guess until it does though, you can just keep abusing it. Yeah, like if the opponent's playing slow, you don't need to look for this. Like, you can just keep playing slow. Claudio's good at playing slow. Don't force it. If your opponent wants to play slow and kind of like turtle, don't be afraid to just slowly chip him down, like using your back 1. Obviously, once you're in heat, it becomes a whole other clown fiesta because Claudio's heat is so broken. But like in general, like, yeah, I feel like Claudio's, they get like, I don't want to say like too excited, but like, yeah, like you can chill. You can play this character a lot more slow. You don't need to run in with a while running 2 if your opponent, like if your opponent's playing here and like they're not running in, you don't need to eventually just give up and go for one of these, like a Hail Mary. Like, it's generally a pretty bad idea to do that. What else? There's something else I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, be careful with this low. For some reason, a lot of Claudios in high ranks are using this low. This is a bad low, I'm gonna be honest. This is 24 frames. I feel like anyone's reacting to this. Yeah, it's a counter hit launcher, but it's only +3, and it's very launch punishable. Like, I'd say just like, honestly, just stick to this. You don't need to take risks on this character, and you have obviously your low heat smash. I know it sucks playing a character with no lows, but like, stick to sidestep 4. If you're gonna use this, don't use it too much. Be really careful with it, because I punish I kill Claudios who like using this move. I really do. Not enough Azucena players use while standing 1, insanely strong move for a neutral. It really is. I also think a lot of people don't use her other while standing moves. I think it was while standing 3. Yeah, goes right into stance. This is a really good tool. Like a really useful tool to have. Like, get more comfortable playing around crouch on this character. I think like there's more than just the stance, right? You have really nice crouch options to get into mix-ups. This isn't gonna age well, obviously, but abuse the hell out of this. You got about, what, 3 more weeks till this is gone? Enjoy those 3 weeks, okay? If you're watching this after Season 2, I'm sorry. You'll never know how broken this was, but abuse this. That's all I really got for Azucena. Not a character I play too much, but I have a lot of respect for Azucena players, because the more I play this game, the more I really like this character. She's really cool. Okay, Raven players. Part of me wants to say, chill with the cheese strings. And I'm not talking about cheese strings, the food, okay? I feel like every Raven player I run into uses like a different assortment of like random weird strings that I've never seen before. It's so jarring. Part of me is like, okay, stop using these. But the other part of me is like, your character is so bad, I kind of get it. I get why God of Destruction Ravens are like doing all these weird strings all the time, because what else are you gonna do? The character's he's so incredibly weak, you know what I mean? So I get it. I be careful with it, but as long as it works, till we get buffs, keep using it. They'll do it. I don't know how you do it. It's the 2 hits kick, and then like he jumps back to catch you pressing, and he jumps from the air. I don't know if I'm using the right one. It's like the 2 kicks into the teleport, and you can just hop kick that and just beat it, but no one knows. And yeah, like randomly throwing out final extensions. Just be a little bit careful with it. I'm not gonna tell you to stop using it because yeah, again, what else are you gonna do? This character is so bad. Yeah, if you're just trying to play like normal Tekken on Raven, like good luck. Keep abusing them and pray he gets the buffs that he desperately needs. Something I was gonna mention, be really careful with this. Raven players love using this so much. Use this more. Just down back 2 on its own is really, really good. Takes you into back turn. It's pretty useful. You can do like a lot of like weird evasive stuff with this. For some reason, every Raven player always insists on doing the full string. And it's like, why? You don't need to. You can just, the first hit is arguably better because it puts you into back turn, right? As soon as I see Raven start doing this, I just duck and then you get launched. So ease up on that. Again, I don't have a ton of tips for this character. He's getting his own dedicated video very soon. And I'm definitely going to look into playing him more and getting better at him in season 2. So stay tuned for his own video and for more content of me struggling with this character because he's so bad. Okay, abuse down forward 2 on this character. Simple tip, this move is broken. The reach is way, way too long. See how he takes a step forward? You're hitting this from very, very far away, like way further away than any character like Yoshimitsu has any right to hit. It's safe on block. Like a lot of Yoshi players play around this and it's so good. Like if you're not using down forward 2 a ton in your game plan, you're not playing this character properly. I don't know why he has safe tools like this, but yeah, it's really one of the best down forward 2s in the game. Like, I don't know, this is arguably better than Paul's. Like, am I crazy for saying that? I actually have no idea if it launches on crouching. I'd guess it doesn't. I'm praying it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't like the rest of them, but yeah, it's super, super good. Like sometimes you just want to like play a little bit further back, play more poking. That leads us into my second tip, which is, holy, if you're not abusing back 3 and back 4, you're not playing the character. These moves are unbelievable. Like having positioning like this, it's instant. I'm out. I'm outie. No, don't do it that much, but like, I don't know. And you can switch based on what character you're playing against. So if you know they're a character who sides up to the left, you use the 3 version. For right, you use the 4 version. Even if you lose a little bit of HP, like Yoshi can regain it anyway. And it's just, I don't know. This tool, I mean, obviously everyone talks about Flash, but like this tool is pretty close to Flash for like how uniquely overpowered it is. No other character has tools like this. It's so good. It's so incredibly good. You use this more, please. All right, Steve players, pick a different character, bro. I don't know how you guys do it. I try and play this guy. He's so unbelievably hard. This is a character I'm really, really bad at, so I don't expect too much advice, although he is going to get his own dedicated video soon. I'm going to like full scale research him. I want to make a really cool video on him. But one thing I do want to talk about that I don't think it's mentioned enough about Steve is his evasion. This guy is stupid evasive. Like, I don't think it's like far off to classify this guy as like the anti-highs character. He kind of just decimates people who like using highs. And I don't know if you played this game, a lot of people who like spam broken moves, a lot of those moves are highs. Like a lot of people they'll either spam jab or they'll spam, I don't know, whatever they're broken. There's a million broken high moves in this game. But like Steve he's so incredibly evasive. Like it's crazy how evasive he is. So I'd say like, yeah, lean into that more. Like take notes, because I feel like a lot of Steves do it by accident. Like a lot of Steves, like there was there's so many clips you see of Steve's just like doing crazy stuff, just going under stuff. Like, yeah, like pay attention. Are they using a lot of highs? Okay, we're gonna start always going into stance, abusing our insane high crush. I don't know, it's pretty funny. I don't know if you guys have seen the clip. Maybe I'll throw it on screen. It happened on my stream a while ago. You know how Jins like to do like forward 4 or like a string? They go into Zen and then they use the broken high power crush tracking heat engager. You've all seen it a million times, right? Steve is like the only character in the game who can do like 4 hits during the power crush and then still go into stance. and then duck, and then you just die. This happened to me on stream. I was like flowcharting with it, and a Steve, I don't remember what string it was, but he did like 4 or 5 different jab hits, and then he ducked down, and this all happened within the Jin Power Crush animation. Ducked it, launched, and the damage scale was so insane because of the scaling, right? Because of how many hits before he did while you're in the Power Crush animation. I'm pretty sure the combo did like 135, 140 damage. Yeah, I hope I can get a clip up of it. It was unbelievable. Like, Steve can do a lot of really unique stuff like that. So like pay attention if they like using a lot of highs, and like, I don't know, just try using them some more of that stuff. Sorry, I don't really have much for Steve, but again, look forward to the full video coming soon, and major respect to Steve players because your character is so difficult and he's so bad. More Dragunov players need to be abusing forward 3 and 1+2. This is unironically one of his best moves, and I just don't see people use it or talk about it enough. It's unbelievably strong. -3. It's -3, and no one's ready for this. Like, no one is ready for it. Again, super long range, like incredibly long range. I don't actually. I think if I remember correctly, can you hit confirm it or not? Yeah, you can't really hit confirm it in this game, but you can heat dash out of it, and you get a full combo. And again, so much range, safe on block, mid. One of his best moves that I don't see Dragunov players use enough. Also, for Dragunov players, I keep running into Dragunovs in God of Destruction who do this. Like, they'll just neutral, they'll just spam sneak 3. I don't like that. That's very risky. Dragunov's not a character who needs to take big risks like this. Every time you do this, you're taking an unbelievable risk. So if that's like a huge part of your game plan, maybe chill out on that. Stick to like down 2 is really good. Full crouch 1-4 is really good. Like, you have great lows. You don't need to be taking such big risks on this character. You can always play him a little bit safer. Use down back 3 more. This move is so crazy. Another move that like flies under the radar. Look how evasive this is. This is essentially like a full counter. You might as well be invincible for these 31 frames. Like, this beats down forward 1s. Like, I don't know, it's stupid how much this can beat. Leo just vanishes. -8. Like, if you know people are pressing, this is such an incredible move to use. I don't see enough Leo players. Spam it. It's really super good. That and down 2. Like, you need to be making sure you're using all of these moves a lot. But you know, the main tip is just, oh my god, the abuse down back 3. I don't have a ton for Shaheen because he's going to get his own video soon. He's another one of those characters. But overall, I think more people need to abuse full crouch 2. This is a super good low. It really is. Especially if you're good at like canceling his stance into crouch. If you're like comfortable doing that. It does take a little bit of execution, but it opens up his mix-up so much more. Like, there's so much more to Shaheen than just the slide, right? Like, when you go into crouch, this guy becomes a monster. Like, you can do this, you can link it, and then you can mix it up with what's the mid you're supposed to do? I always forget. So I haven't played Shaheen in a while. But like, yeah, just the first hit, full crouch 4, a +4 into stats, and you can cancel it to crouch. It opens up his offense so well, and a lot of Shaheens weirdly aren't using this move enough. Oh yeah, and abuse back 3+4, because 3 more weeks until this move is gone. As soon as season 2 starts, this is no more, so keep abusing it. Okay, Kuma players need to chill with going into stance off of block. I feel like every single time I fight a Kuma, they always have the pretty horrible habit of like always holding down to go into stance. Like, you'll do up 1+2, right? I don't know if you set the block. Up 1+2, and they'll hold down every single time. And like, that's okay for a mix-up, but like, you're gonna get destroyed. You're gonna get launched. You'll also, what's the power crush? Back 1? They always hold down after back 1, which is funny because if you just did back 1 normally, a lot of people probably wouldn't be ready to punish it because they're just so used to you going into stance. So like, maybe like ease up. I know there's a couple other strings I'm definitely forgetting. Yeah, like that one. Like, you don't always need to go into stance. Play a little bit more smart on this guy. Like, this guy has a lot of great tools. You don't have to always just go into stance, because you're gonna get, again, good players, and I've talked about this for almost all the stance characters now. Once you get to like a bit of a higher level, that's like a huge game plan. If you see someone likes to go into stance, they're gonna fucking throw hop kicks at your face. They're gonna interrupt all of it. Like, oh, you're going into stances when you're not, it's like super plus, goodbye. Either get option selected or get launched. So like, I just wanna get that into your heads now. Like, it's worth looking into. Also, when you're on the floor, chill out. Like, almost every Kuma I face, you knock them down, they're staying on the floor, they're doing this. Like, Stop. Sooner or later, you're gonna run into players with like really good Oki who know what to do, and you're just gonna get counter hit and counter hit and counter hit. Like maybe ease up on that a little bit and abuse his broken stuff, because this electric, this is getting nerfed very, very hard in season 2. I can almost guarantee it. Also, use back 1+2 more. This is more Kuma players. This is a very spammable move, and for some reason I don't see people use it as often as they should. Quite a few things for Fengwei, actually. This is actually a character who I've been very interested in recently. I'm gonna do a video on him, and I want to try and getting him to God of Destruction. He's really cool. And first off, this tip is more so applies to lower level players. We'll have a lot for higher level players too, but I see it in high ranks a little bit too much. Chill with the TO, okay? I know it's like a whole meme. I feel like Fengwei players use this way, way too often when they really shouldn't be. It's so risky. The risk reward on this move is not good, unless of course you're in heat. Then obviously if you're gonna heat dash, go ahead. But yeah, chill out with that. If you want to like interrupt people pressing, back 1 is really good. I'd much prefer people use this, a lot safer. Yeah, that's what you want to use. Secondly, I think Fengweis need to be, and this works even in the highest level, need to be abusing sidestep 4 more. I don't know what, people do not talk about this move, and it's so weird to me. Like, it almost feels like there's something I might be missing, but I've been playing Fengwei a lot. Unironically, like in very high ranks, the flowchart of back 3, sidestep 4. Back 3, sidestep 4. You'd be super surprised often. Because like, this is a 20 frame snake edge. Can't react to it, and you can't sidestep it either, because if it comes out of a sidestep, you realign. Like this move is fully evasive too. You're using any highs, even some mids. I'm ducking right under that. You're getting launched. You're taking a ton of damage. Obviously, you can mix that up with sidestep 1+2 for a +1 on block. And like, I'm not saying sidestep in neutral, but like after your pressure, specifically back 3, look for sidestep 50/50s. There's really no reason not to. Like, I don't know. Every time I see this move, I'm like, there must be something I'm missing, but it just seems incredibly, incredibly strong. It really does. I think there's a blues forward 1+2. For some, it's weird. Fengwei players, no one really talks about, when they talk about like high power crush heat engagers, no one really talks about Fengwei having one, but he does. I feel like he flies under the radar. Like, he's got one too. Also, don't get predictable with down back 3s. This seems very, very common. Down back 3 is good, but like, you have a lot of other good lows. Like quarter circle forward 1 has better range than down back 3, and you're not taking nearly as much of a risk. You're not going to get launched from this. It is a bit slower, and that is true. So this still has a lot of good cases if you want to like play keep out and you know they're going to press, because you get the counter hit damage very quick. But I don't know. I feel like Fengweis get a little bit too predictable, and you're getting launched if this blocks. So be very careful. Spam Snake Edge on this character, and if you're already spamming Snake Edge on this character, spam it even more. It's so good. I'm sorry. This is a move that I've like labbed in training mode, trying to get used to the animation. I'm still not reacting to it like 95% of the time. It's so quick, 25 frames. It's so, I don't know, something about it. Maybe because she's already low, it makes it like so weird to like react to, but abuse this move so much. Like, just spam it, dude. It's so broken. And I was gonna say maybe like ease up on the tarantula stance down 1+2, or is it down forward 1 on this, the Azazel hand, because I know Zafina players, you love your flowcharts. There's so many flowcharts. You go into stance, do this. I was gonna say stop spamming that, but honestly, nah, just keep using it until people figure it out. No one's ever gonna lab this character. She's always gonna be in the lowest play rate possible, so find your flowcharts and just abuse them, to be honest. Unless you're like interested in actually becoming like a strong fundamental Tekken player. But if you just wanna win, like, just abuse this shit. It's so frustrating. This character is definitely something. What tips can I even give for Lee? He's so bad in this game, and he's so hard. I guess just like a quick one. Again, Lee is one more character who will be getting his full video in the next couple weeks, so I'll go more in depth then, but please stop doing this. So many Lees, even in higher ranks, like when they start panicking and they'll start doing all the generic Lee panic options. Stop. This is a terrible, terrible habit to develop, and so many, like, you'd be surprised how many high-level Lee players are spamming this. Like, be careful with it. I know the character is hard, but this is a really, really bad habit. Also, obviously, learn Acid Rain. I know there's a lot of Lee players who like put it off. You really want to be good at doing Acid Rain. I know you get it for free in Heat in this game, but if you're not doing Acid Rain, you're not playing the full character, to be honest. There you go, I got it once. Abuse this low for sure. I'm sure a lot of Alisa players already do. It's so good. This is like an amazing low for her to have. It's so annoying. You just once it hits you just can't do anything. I also feel like her general poking is like a little bit underused. This character has really good poking. Back 1 is like a super good a super good move to have. You have down back 3. You have the down 3. Down 3 is really good, super good range. Like you can play small Tekken on this character so incredibly well. Like get more used to using your poking. You know, down forward 2, keep out, back 3 obviously, while standing 1+2. Like I feel like there's a lot of moves on her that are just really like amazing standard Tekken tools that just they don't get used very often. Also, abuse Hell Sweep. No one's ready for this. It's so good. You gotta spam Hell Sweep. Also, use 1-2 down 2 more. For some reason, none of them really use this. This is a really good string. No one's ready for it, and it's a full counter hit launcher if the low connects. Very good, especially in like last hit situations. That's all I got for this character, okay? I'm sorry. The number one problem I see with Victor players is that they play far riskier than they need to. Victor's kind of balanced around a lot of his really good tools either being highs or lows, which means like he's very susceptible to people who like to duck. And again, kind of like Lars, my biggest game plan against Victor is just like wait for them to get antsy and do one of these and then punish it and kill you for it. I feel like you gotta be more patient on this character, play a little bit more safe. Like you can keep it safe with this character if you use the right tools. While standing 2, super good move. It's so good. Down 4 is your safe low, obviously, and you get a nice little counter hit string without taking a huge risk. You're not risking getting exploded every time you do that. To get down forward 1, you have really good poking. Down back 1-1 is a super good string that more Victor players need to use. Your godly 1+2. Like keep it safe. Ease up on the down back 4s, seriously, or ease up on like the high pressure, because ease up on like the high pressure, because I feel like that's like my biggest thing against him. I'm able to abuse it so easily because people just Victors just aren't used to like being ducked like all the time, like ducking their strings, ducking this on reaction. They're really just not used to it. Also, this is only going to apply to very new players. I'm sure if you're a Victor player, you know this, but abuse his wall pressure. Oh my god, it's unbelievably strong. The sword move out of the EI stance, it's so good. Like if you get your opponent to the wall, they should be dying on this character most of the time. So make sure you know fully how to do his wall pressure as optimally as possible. For Eddy, honestly, use forward 3+4 less. I feel like Eddy players are way too like gung-ho and like spammy with this move. This is not a good move. This move has actually like 0 tracking, like literally none. It's so bad. It's so easy to punish. Like you can sidestep this move on accidents and it'll whiff. Like seriously, be way more careful with this move. If you want power crush, or sorry, if you want like a heat engager, stick to back 3+4. This move is hella good. And again, you have till season 2 before this gets removed, so keep abusing that and pray to Harada that they buff your character. I'm praying, because I think it'd be cool if Eddy was good in this game. This is going to be very similar for the tip I gave earlier for Heihachi. I feel like more Lidia players need to be more comfortable mixing up their timing. Like, you don't always need to do a mix-up, and sometimes waiting just like a couple frames can make all the difference. Like, you don't need to always immediately. Like, sometimes it's just better to hold, especially when you're in heat, right? Because you get it, the forward 2, going to this. You could just do an option immediately, or you could wait. You could delay it by like half a second, and then your opponent not only has to guess, but they have to guess your timing. I feel like there's so many more mind games that just aren't seen in mid-level Tekken because people don't understand how crucial understanding timing mix-ups is in this game. And especially because like a lot of and also like don't always go into Heaven and Earth stance. I feel like a lot of Lidias are not, like, you're kind of careless with that. Like a lot of players now are grabbing her out of it. So like if they see you do like a string or like do this into Heaven and Earth, they'll just grab you and it'll beat it, obviously, because it's a power crush. It's a power crush stance. So yeah, be more comfortable like mixing it up. Like sometimes you just don't go into stance. Sometimes you do nothing. Sometimes you just delay it. Sometimes you do it immediately. Like add that layer on to your mix-ups, because this is already like a 50-50 character, but she becomes so much more threatening when you start changing your timing every single time to keep your opponent guessing. You know what I mean? Okay, for Clive, I don't know why people don't use this move more. I've been saying this move's been broken since the day he came out. Sidestep 2-1, man. This move is incredibly strong. Like, look at the range on this. It's unbelievable how much range it is. It's a fully hit confirmable. Like, and when I say confirmable, I mean like you can wait like it feels like a second. You can wait so long before doing the last hit. Like there, look how long I waited, and you're still able to confirm it. Obviously, don't do the last hit until you see the first one connects, but this is a very good long range pressure tool. It's so underrated. Like this should be one of Clive's most used moves, and it's really not, which is it's odd to me that more people don't use this. Down back 1 is also a very underrated move that I use a lot on Clive that I don't see other people use. This is a fully safe on block, high, very quick tracking, so it beats sidestepping. Counter hit launcher. I feel like a lot of people don't know this. Oops, sorry. Full counter hit launcher. Like, really, really, really good move. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of potential there. I think you can also, I don't know if you're able to pick up there. I've never tested it. Hold on. You might just be able to do a normal combo without the animation. No, you're, maybe you are. I'm not sure. I haven't tested enough yet. But yeah, even without that, you get a pretty decent damage combo. Also on normal hit, you don't want to do this all the time because it's risky, but if you can, on normal hit, it does like 42 damage. Very, very quick, underrated move that I think more Clives need to be utilizing.